restoration in this country, in terms of the number of tree growing activities that have happened, we would not be where we are at the moment. And that speaks to the issue of pollution. We have very isolated activities that have been done in this country, where we have activities around cleaning a river, and that's the end of it. And we cannot continue doing that. So one of the things, Honorable Essie, is the review of our mother law for environmental conservation, but also through our Kenya Kwanza plan. At the core of it is a very well-detailed plan, which is a value chain approach, which speaks to the sustainability of initiatives that we undertake to ensure that we see visible changes in the country with regards to ecosystem restoration. Mr. Speaker, should there be any specific question that is in line with the rivers and water bodies pollution control, then I would undertake that I will come back here with more details to respond to whatever attendant questions that might be there. Thank you.
Senator Cheriot.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this chance. Mr. Speaker, I know you have guided, and I'll try and be brief, extremely brief like you guided, but allow me to ask 1.5 questions. I don't want to make it sound like it's 2, because part of that question has been asked by Senator Essie, but I don't think the minister answered it to our satisfaction. Madam Minister, Senator Soipan, Senator Essie Okenyuri was quite clear in her question about natural rivers. Nairobi, where this parliament sits, and which is the capital of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker, is known for very dirty rivers. We are aware that indeed the President did put in place the Nairobi River Commission in the month of October last year, and that in this current financial year there are budgetary provisions to enforce and see that river being cleaned up. But apart from Nairobi River, there are many other rivers. If you drive, say, on Mombasa Road, Mr. Speaker, and you're caught by traffic just before the Nyaya roundabout, you know that last river. It's a black river, flowing with effluent and extremely dirty, and so many other places around the city that you can point out to. When are we going to see action from the Cabinet Secretary? Because the polluters of those rivers are upstream. There are institutions that are known, there are people that are known that continue to make our rivers dirty. So I'd wish that the CS perhaps informs the House and the country when she will equally be celebrated, just as she's being celebrated on the campaign to plant the 15 billion trees, for cleaning up our rivers, because that will mean something great for this city, Mr. Speaker. I thank you for that opportunity.
Honorable CS.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, the question by Senator Cheriot as a follow-up to Senator Essie. Mr. Speaker, I know I'm giving a very global response to this, but we have effluent discharge strategies, because you realize that our rivers are not even black, Honorable Senator. If you follow through, you know, the Nairobi River's ecosystem goes up to the Indian Ocean. And if you follow the trend of it from Ondiri Swamp up to the Indian Ocean, it is distressing, Honorable Speaker. And I want the nation to know that I started off by saying that we are concerned, and deeply so, because we are not doing well at all. And there have been actions that have been taken in the past, but very disjointed, very ad hoc in nature, but we are setting the stage for initiatives that will be sustainable. One of which is effluent discharge strategy, which we have, because you realize, Mr. Speaker, that for the Nairobi rivers, for example, it is about our industries that are not taking care of their waste, and they imagine that the rivers are the dustbins or the, the place where they open their sewage and effluent discharge into. And of course, the action there is to actualize our polluter pay principle, which is properly placed within our law, but we now need people to take responsibility. The polluters, the manufacturers, the producers have to think through their products, whether they are, the manufacturing of products, they have to think through the point of production up to the end of where the products are going to end into. So that for those people that are not taking their responsibility for the waste they produce in the course of their production businesses, Mr. Speaker and Honorable Majority Leader, we are going to take action under the polluter pay principle. People have to pay for their waste. People have to demonstrate how they visualize the waste they produce up to the end. And in the value chain spirit, this sustainable waste management plan is a place where we can also provide employment for our young people in the material recovery facilities, in the, the recycling processes that some of the companies are demonstrating in this, right in this city, that we can turn our waste into wealth by organizing our youth in cooperatives, by organizing our youth in those that are around dam sites. If you look at Dandora, for example, we have had serious attempts to try and deal with Dandora, but no sustainable or comprehensive approach to it. Yet, it has been demonstrated in other jurisdictions that indeed we can turn the waste in Dandora into energy. Nairobi can have sufficient supply of energy from Dandora, and we reduce and get rid of that waste and turn it into waste, turn it into wealth creation, turn it into employment creation for our youth. So, Mr. Speaker, without giving a date, the Leader of Majority wants me to give a date as to when we are going to actualize this. I want to request this House, Mr. Speaker, through you, that I have a session when I come up with the specific strategies that we have, with specific action points that we are taking from the sustainable waste management aspect of our priorities, which includes the cleanup and dealing with the pollution of our water sources. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mungatana.
Asante sana Bwana Spika. Asante sana waziri kwa kujibu maswala vizuri. Nilikuwa nataka kuuliza, sasa tutazungumzia mambo ya rivers. Kwamba je, sijui kama katika mipangilio yako unafikiriaje kuhusu mito ile mikubwa kama River Tana, ambayo ukifika huku chini, sehemu za chini pwani, zinageuza mikondo, na